Welcome to the Season 3 recap of Manifest. Ben and Vance are in Cuba to follow up on the tailfin. Upon touching it, Ben is thrown backward, which is caught on camera phone by a local boy. A Cuban policeman sees the video and forces Ben to duplicate the incident, but Vance arrives to intervene. Ben and Vance's associate Emmett get on a plane to escape, leaving Vance to be apprehended by the DGI. Ben and Michaela discuss the tailfin, now believing that Flight 828 exploded and killed everyone, but they were resurrected for still unknown reasons. Jace, Pete and Corey are then shown emerging from the thawed lake and coming back to life. Michaela gets her suspension lifted and reunites with Dree. They view park ranger footage of Jace, Pete, and Corey walking out of the lake. They investigate and learn the men assaulted two campers and stole their RV. Angelina has a haunting calling that leads her to her old school. With Olive's help, she digs up a time capsule containing an old photo of herself at a King Cone stand, reminding her of a time when family life was normal. News breaks of the discovery of a piece of Flight 828 in Cuba, and the Stonehouse is inundated by reporters looking for answers. Vance is interrogated by NSA but insists he won't work for the government again, citing Fitz's attempt to have him killed. A calling leads Ben to 828 passenger Egan, who helps him locate and rescue a teenager from a museum that soon explodes. Ben takes the young man home and it's revealed that the teenager is Corey's brother. Pete and Corey have a calling and an RV is shown with someone cutting out the eyes from photos of Stone family members. After being persuaded to rejoin the NSA while mentioning that Fitz's death has been covered up, Vance is led into a large room and reacts to something unseen. 2 months later, Vance is heading up the 828 task force for NSA. He invites Ben and Sanvi to view the operation, with the tailfin now added to the plane wreckage. Vance shows Ben and Sanvi old security video of the tailfin vanishing, and Sanvi recognizes the timestamp on the screen as when she killed Fitz, the same day Zeke rescued Cal and beat the death date. He later uses this ability to get Pete to reveal that his high school football coach named Hannity was forcing Jace, Corey and himself to deal drugs, which resulted in a teammate's death. Meanwhile, Jared and Dree learn more about Fitz's disappearance, as Emmett informs Vance that Jared is getting too close. Jared continues getting closer to the truth and is abducted by Emmett under the alias of Special Agent Fisher, while Sanvi starts to understand the consequences of her choices. After Tarek brags at a bar about the 828-themed restaurant he wants to open with Grace, the family's location is revealed on the internet by a reporter who overheard Tarek's pitch. While searching for Jace, Zeke is knocked unconscious, leaving an oblivious Michaela alone in her search. Michaela fights Jace, who experiences a calling of Cal playing basketball and repeating Last Chance. Convinced that his survival is connected to Cal, Jace kicks Michaela off of a cliff and goes after Cal. Michaela is later rescued by Zeke and Jared. A shadowy figure rises from Jace's body, grabs Pete and Corey and causes them to die for a second time. Ben and Michaela are stunned by the realization that they have it all wrong, while Angelina is devastated to lose Pete. Furious that Pete is now dead alongside the fact that they now have the bodies of him, Jace, and Corey in their custody, Dr. Gupta says Ben and Sanvi have to leave the Eureka project after their current tasks are finished. Sanvi makes a discovery about different metallic compounds found in people that have returned and died, recognizing them as materials in Sapphire. Gupta later decides to retain Sanvi following her breakthrough, then has something to show her in a sealed container marked with the crossed keys of the Vatican. The object in the container is a piece of wood, thought to be several thousand years old, that is coated with the same minerals as 828 passengers. Ben and Michaela follow similar callings, which lead them to 828 passenger Rachel Hall. Elsewhere, Angelina seems to be able to calm Eden whenever she's crying, and Cal tries to use Zeke's empathy power to determine if a girl at school likes him. Also, Michaela and Dree notice that Jared is becoming romantic with Sarah Fitz. Ben and Egan get similar dark cloud callings, except Egan's has a lion. Michaela looks in a mirror and sees blood coming from her eyes. Egan works with Ben when they both see a lion with bleeding eyes and then see that Sanvi's photo on Ben's wall is wet. Sanvi has been running experiments bombarding the ancient wood with a dark lightning simulator when her eyes start to bleed. Ben tells Grace the latest callings likely mean the 828 lifeboat is already taking on water. Sanvi's latest experiment on the ancient wood causes a rare earthquake to hit New York. When Sanvi sees TV news coverage of a fissure in a road with lava underneath, right at the epicenter of the quake, she's convinced that Mount Ararat has come to New York to reclaim the peace of Noah's Arkansas. At the sight of the road fissure, Troy and Cooper cause a distraction, allowing Sanvi to toss the ancient wood into the lava. The lava disappears and the pavement returns. Immediately, Cal gets another calling. Cal is hiding Angelina in his room when she becomes convinced that God wants her to be an errand to Cal's Moses. Ben has his arraignment and expects to plead guilty and present the extenuating circumstances of what happened with Cody Weber, but he draws an anti-828 judge and pleads not guilty. Ben is released from jail and is talking with Vance when an apprehended Egan sees him and explodes with rage. It's revealed that the NYPD has also arrested Adrian, who had been underground since the club fire. At Angelina's urging, Cal shows up at the gates of Project Eureka asking to see the tailfin. After learning from Vance that Cal is at Eureka, Olive puts on Ben's ankle monitor so that Ben and Grace can go and get Cal. They find out that Cal has a calling that's burning his skin and it won't stop until Eureka stops testing on the tailfin. Meanwhile, Michaela gets a shared calling with Bethany, Egan, and Adrian where Flight 828 is bleeding blood everywhere and concludes that it is a warning about someone dying. She asks them for help to solve the calling before someone dies, but Egan and Adrian refuse to help. To get Cal back, Ben and Vance plan to steal the tailfin while Grace and Olive piece together Cal's drawings for clues. Recognizing a constellation in the drawings as a sign from her late grandmother, Dr. Gupta allows them to take the tailfin. Egan and Adrian incite a group of passengers, including Angelina, claiming that the stones are working with the NSA. This results in Egan and another passenger holding Vance's son hostage. Sanvi is rescued by Ben from the ocean after she released the tailfin. Angelina sneaks into the stone house, stabs Grace with a knife, and leaves with Eden. An adult version of Cal appears and kneels by his mother's side as she dies. As Dr. Gupta leaves Eureka, she turns and sees the pilot appear in the reconstructed plane before both he and the plane disappear. Thank you for watching the recap. If you liked it, then please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to get our recaps easily.